Hello gamers, Matt Lemke here, and another Off the Palette. In this Off the Palette, we'll be painting Alkemy Xian Ling. I'll be using about eight paints for this model. I'm going to start by, go ahead and I'm going to paint all his flesh. I'm going to paint it a green because I like the way it adds to the shading of the model. Except my green is not cooperating. Yeah, it doesn't like me today. Such is life. Just have to come back and hit it again. My green never seems to like me. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to his legs after this, because that's another shade of green. Actually, what I did is I took a jade green and mutation green and I mixed them together. That'll be my base for all the dark colors. That'll be a jade color. So I should have better luck with this here. Not really. Looks like I got my primer is not liking my paint, my Vallejos, which sometimes that tends to be a problem. I used the Army Painter primer for this, and it seems that whenever I use Vallejo paints with the Army Painter primer, I have a little bit of a problem with the paint not wanting to stick with it, and that makes me not annoyed, because I only really have the problem with the Army Painter colors, or the Vallejos, when I use the Army Painters. So, and now that war paints are coming out, I'll be able to switch to those if I want to keep using the Army Painter primer. And then for the rest of his cloaked garment, it's like a off-whitish, beigeish color. Zoom in a little bit more. That's better. And I'm just going to go ahead and base it as best I can. I'm having all kinds of issues with this paint today. I wonder why. I wonder if maybe it's my water, because there's chlorine in it. Let me try something wrong, because that's garbage. Look at that. Must be my water. Still separating a little bit, but not as much. I remixed my paint and I used bottled water. So the chlorine must not like the model. It's got some ornamental stuff down here. Go over that with a gold or a brass later. Try not to get it on his ropes. Come back up here. Hit everything up here. I'm going to have to paint him a couple times, it looks like. But that's okay. I'm going to have to do some research and find out what to do about my paint when it thins. I know that it's in one of the videos I watched from what's his name? It's Hot Lead. I know there's a fix for this in the Hot Lead video, but I can't remember what it is. It's been too long since I've watched it. I'll have to go back through and review. But most of this guy is going to be this mix of pale flesh, green, and Menoth White from Reaper. Or from P3, I mean. That's what I use to get this off-whitish, creamy green color. Almost a, I don't know, it's almost a mint. I'll call it mint green. I'd be happy with that. So it's a little chilly down here too. Maybe that has something to do with it because it's cold out and my basement isn't the warmest place in the house. It's probably 65, which isn't terrible, but midnight I'm sure it gets colder, so I'm sure that might be affecting the way my paints work. Yeah, just keep going over it. The paint will eventually come together. It'll actually kind of help too. That's okay that it's separating a little bit. I mean, it's not the most beautiful thing in the world when you look at it shaping up like this, but it'll help put more paint on the high spots, and the low spots will stay darker because of the way it's separating on this model. So I'm actually kind of okay with it. He's starting to come to life a little bit. Put that in there. Go around him one more time. Try and make sure I didn't miss any spots on his robes. Or, I'm going to call that a duster. Like a western coat, because that's what it is. It's a really big coat. Come up here, hit all these spots in here. Not worried too much about the detail spots yet. Put a little bit more paint on them. My brush. Take a real quick look at him. Oh, I didn't do anything on this side of his jacket. So we'll hit that right now. Get in there. Get in there. Like I said, try not to hit the ropes, but if you do, oh well. It's going to be one of the last things they come back and touch up anyway. Get these spots in here. Go back to some dark green for his face. His hands. neck area, his head. I need a little bit more of this lime in here, or this mint. I'm going to call it mint. A little bit there. Get in there a little bit. Get in there. I thought this model was going to be complicated to paint. He's not going to be that bad. Hardest part on him is going to be mixing the right colors for your washes and dry brushes and blends. That's going to be the hardest part. Oh, it was dark on the other one. Oh well. Turn real quick. Get this again. Get down in there by his leg. His leg kind of gets swallowed by the coat, so that's actually going to be pretty tough to paint back in there. Next, I'm going to remix a little bit of the jade and the mutation green without so much water, with bottled water this time, and re-hit his legs. Oh, crap. Just got paint on my fingernail. Re-hit his legs and hit the high spots on his what I'm going to call armor part of his vesture. Oops. Come back here, figure. I think that's all leg. Not sure. That's definitely leg right there. And this here should be dark green. All the way around, but only at the top. Let me just bumped it. That's okay. Bingo. Now I'm going to go ahead and paint these a dark green. Come back. Maybe highlight the ribs with something else. I don't know. Paint it all dark green. What the heck? He's from Jade Empire, so green is their thing. And then I'll probably highlight that with the mint green. So I finally got to play the game once or twice. I kind of like it. I've really only played combat. We haven't really got into all the rules about terrain yet and stuff like that, or magic really. I haven't used too much magic. We've been slugfesting it to learn how to play the game. It plays pretty smoothly, I think. I wish there were more combat cards for the game. And we're going to paint his hat green. Because we can. Paint his hat green. That's not a bell. Oops, almost dipped it in the wrong paint. Paint all that green there. Whatever's holding, whatever he's got hanging on his side there, that'll be a dark green too. And we'll go back in here. Hit all his legs again. Because, well, they need it. Hit his foot, because it's green. Hit his leg. Rinse out. Go back to the mint green. Hit all the spots I can possibly hit again that need hit. Try not to get into that dark green too much. Except where I need to, which is right there. And here. And there's some stuff black bleeding through up here, so I'm going to hit it all again. All those spots real quick. Try and hide them, cover them up, get rid of them. Hit there again. Spot right there, it's bleeding through. Some stuff underneath here. Uh-oh. Figure falling. Bad. Get all this. Hit his little strings here on his hat. Make them green. Make them minty. I should have left the insides black. Oh well. Nobody's looking inside there anyway, and there's really a lot of shadow in there, so they should be a lot darker. But that's life. Same thing with the underside of it. Now let's see if I can highlight this. And it might be too early to highlight that. Let some of that dry up a little bit. Move into the flesh. I'm going to start with an elf flesh tone. Don't need a lot. Then I'm going to move into pale flesh with a highlight of dead white at the very end. Oops. Helps if I stay on camera, doesn't it? I bet he's got some black hair. This here. A little bit more. There. Get the rest of his hand here. Okay, now I'm going to take a little bit of silver. Really just about a drop because there's not a lot of stuff. I'm going to paint all the bells like a silver, a plate of silver. And then I'm going to get out some hammered copper, or I think I brought bronze over. But I'm going to paint the stuff that I want to be silver, obviously. Which is his wand-like thing. Oops, I just got his finger. It might be a club, a cudgel. This little bell. But I want a little bit more color in there than what the silver's going to offer. So his bracer there, I might go ahead and paint that hammered copper. Be careful not to get it on his green here. And this is a bell, I think. I'm going to call it a bell. That's what it looks like to me. It's a musical instrument of sorts. I should probably drill them out. Oh well. A little late for that. Almost dipped it in the green. That would have been bad. Rinse that off. Go back to my dark green real quick. Hit a couple of these spots that need help. Now my next step, I'm going to take that mint green, I'm going to add a little dark green to it and turn it into a wash. But first, I'm actually going to hit a couple spots that I think still need some of the mint green. This will be dark enough. Well, it needs a little more water. A little thick. And I'm only going to focus on the lower spots of each portion of the model with this. And back in here. There. I hit these here. This is because this is awfully close. I'm just going to hit the bottom side of the sleeves. And that first wash is done. So now I'm going to go to the pale flesh and I'm going to hit the highlights on his head with a little bit of a dry brush. And then I'm going to come back and hit the silver again real quick. Start with his hands. Because I don't care as much about his hand. I want the details of the face. The hand can be a little bit more washed out for my purposes. Now, ever so lightly, I'm going to dry brush his face. Might need to hit that again. Now I'm going to go back to the silver. Hit this bell. The bell's being stubborn. Hit the wand a little bit more because I keep knocking the paint off it. Hit this ball. Hit this bell a little bit more. Oh, I never painted the inside of this bell. Go. Okay. Now, I'm going to do my first dry brush on the dark green. And I kind of want to do this with jade, but I'm thinking it might be a bad idea, so we're going to see what happens. I'm not going to use a lot. I think the mint green is actually probably the right highlight color for it. And actually, I may just go right into highlighting this model because, man, the pants are... I can do this. Yeah, I'm going to have to highlight it. And actually highlight it. I'll just hit everything with the jade real quick. I want these to be jade though, for sure. This hat. Doop, 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 doop. Hit the back of his hat. Then I'm going to dip it right into the mint green before I add any dead white to it. I'm going to hit these spots here because I think that'll finish it up. Now, in these low spots, I don't care that some of my black is showing through because that just adds more depth to the model. And then up here, real quick, just the high spot. A little bit of a dry brush. Just something to say, hey, I'm up here. And a little, just a little bit in there. Just enough to hint at the colors. And see, on the jade didn't even show up. So, ever so lightly, hit those spots. Just enough. And hit his arm. Doop. Doop. And hit these. Just enough to give it some more color. Maybe on these drum thingies, I'll come back and hit it with a green ink to hide some of that weight from my brush. But, you know, I kind of like that heavy look. I like that heavy look a lot, actually. And then, wow, he's looking good. I'm going to get the brush. No, I'm going to go right to dead white and highlight the robe. I'm going white to the dead right white because it's really a dry brush, and I just want, yeah, look at that. Oh, that's going to be gorgeous. A little heavy there. That's okay. I want it a little heavier on the edge there because it's catching a lot of light. I even want, I think, to hit the inside portion just a hair on this model because, well, I think that's what I want to do. And since it's mine, nobody can tell me otherwise. Hit that. I want these a little bit heavier than the rest of the model. Looks like he folded it, so it's definitely higher. Hit this guy right here. I'm actually going to have to paint this highlight on. Good thing I haven't had too much coffee today. Yeah, hit the green here too. Just a little bit. I'll hit the tops of these ribbons with the white. And the tops of the canisters. Because they're higher than the rest of the model. the inside here a little bit more with the white. Same here. Take a little bit more paint off my brush for this. Oh, shoot, not enough. I'll come back with green wash. Carefully put some green in there. And there's some lines down here I want to try and hit. Look, see how much darker that is from that wash compared to that? Hit that. Hit that a little bit. Because it's got more. See how I bumped that? That's okay. We'll just go right back to it. Grab our little bit of a wash. We'll blend that right in right now. Clean off the brush. Go back to dry brushing with the white. Is there some spots that still need hit? Again, I want to hit this a little bit heavier over here. Because it's high for one. And for two, it's folded. So I kind of want to accent that a little bit more. To the point where, there. I might even just go like this with this brush. Yep, just like that. And then this here, try and hit that a little bit. Hit that spot. That spot's pretty heavy. Right there's a line. Try and hit that. Hit that line a little bit. Hit that. Right there. And then I'm going to stand them up. I'm going to hit the top of this with white. Actually, I'm going to do this pretty heavy because it's at the top catching all that sunlight. And I don't care. I want to accent the different shades. And I don't care if all that green blends through the white and it kind of looks creamier than it already is because there's so much light hitting it at the top. Now, I'm going to take the dead white and I'm going to hit the high spots on his face. I do see one spot where I have to come back and touch it up. But the beauty of dry brushing flesh tones is that they blend nicely when you dry brush. The other layers seep through rather nicely. That was dark green, so I need some dark green. Hit in here real quick. Just like that. Now I've got to paint the browns. But all in all, this model's pretty much done. I'm going to do the bronze first. I think it's going to add to the jade section a lot. It's going to give it a lot of character. Especially with the black behind it. It's going to add a lot of depth to the model. The only thing I haven't made up my mind yet is what color I'm going to dry brush his. I think they're going to be silver. I just made up my mind. And actually, I want a little bit more color on the end of his wand thing. So I'm going to put that into hammer topper. Just to give it a little bit more character. this. Stand it back up a little bit. I need a little bit more copper. Not a lot. Just enough to hit the top here and come all the way around to the front. I need some more of that. I need some more of that green in here to blend this up a little bit. Right where I made this boo-boo. Let's see how much brush control I have. Hit right there. Yeah, I like that. Need a little bit right there. I made a sloppy mess. And I think that's a little too white there, so I'm going to hit right in between the lines. Just like that. And I need to put some green in here because this is supposed to be green. And you can't tell, it's looking black. And then we really need to come back through here a little bit more. Hit in between his ropes. I actually like the bottom being black like that. But the top two, I'm going to paint brown like they are ropes, or like he has a rope belt. And I'm going to fix his jade. Oh, I was off camera. Sorry about that. I'm going to fix his jade necklace up a little bit because it's a little sloppy. I'm going to just come back and divot that a little bit with some dead white. Well, not divot, dimple. But right now I need some of this green to dry brush with on these spots that are... And I don't really know the best way to do this. There. Just like that. There's not a whole lot there, so I'm just going to kind of try and line it as best I can. Right at the top. Just enough to let you know that it's been accented. Same here. And then I'm going to go back to some dead white because I think some more spots could use a little bit of dry brushing. Like here. Maybe a little bit more here. A little bit more here for sure. A little bit more here for sure. And here. Back in the middle. And his hand, because I didn't dry brush his hand. Or this hand, for that matter. Need a little bit more. Well, you might be saying, that guy's awfully pale. Well, I kind of want him to be pale. Because he's supposed to be Asian. I don't know if I captured that skin color well with the green. Now, I'm going to do something I think needs done that I don't normally do, because I'm not very good at it. I'm going to attempt to paint his lips. That is not something that I am very good at. So, bear with me while I ruin my model. Put a nice fine point on the brush. And that's pretty bad. So now I gotta go back and fix them. Which is not gonna be the easiest thing in the world to do. So we're gonna start down here with his chin. Try not to make him look too much like the Joker. Now I could have changed brushes for that, but that means I gotta clean another one. Looks like I'm going to need my liner for it. Right now, I'll just work on fixing it. Here's my pale flesh. I'll just work on fixing it. Kind of don't like it. It's too soft. Maybe I should come back and hit that with the copper. We'll find out. We'll do that in a little bit. Maybe. Doesn't pop on the model. That's my problem with it. So I'm going to let that dry, probably come back, and I will probably hit it with the copper, because actually, with those being copper and this being copper, I think that's a really nice accent. Oh, guess what I didn't paint? The backside of his feet. Right there. I suppose I could have left them black. A lot of people have black shoes. Oh well, I didn't. Now I'm going to go to Beastie Brown. And this isn't going to be much more than a dry brush, really. Because it's so... Well, my brown's pretty wet. So I might have problems with this. But... yes, it's really me painting. Got a lot of brown to do up front here. And the brown's actually pulling from the copper. I don't know if you can tell that. At the top here, just like that. And I noticed there's some spots that need to be a little bit greener right here. So I'm going to hit it real quick. Grab my my Alkemy flesh tone real quick again. Get these spots here. Clean that whole face up. Look at, from the red that bled through, look how red his chin is. So we're going to clean this up. Kind of hit it. Try and leave his lip area alone as much as possible. Whoa. And then I'm going to grab some more hammered copper. I see a spot I missed. A little line here. Hit it real quick. Maybe there. And then I'm going to come back, I'm going to hit this. Clean my brush off a little bit more. Oh yeah, I think that made the model look a lot better with it being the copper. There's some contrast on it now. Make some of this copper even. And then I need to do I'll probably just hit that with a dead white. This guy's about done. I see some spots that need help, but like right here. A little bit of flesh. Now I'll take the pale flesh real quick. Try and do a dry brush. Right after I rinse my brush. Just try and hit these high spots. Give them some more facial color. Lead them towards more of a white pigment. And then the reddish brown that is from the elf flesh tone. Grab the silver again. Hit this spot here. Yeah, he definitely needs facial detail. And he needs some white on the brown. So now I'm going to go to dead white again. And while I'm dry brushing the brown, his face will dry. And actually, I can hit this right away, actually. Because I don't want to put too much on the brown. Just barely want to touch it. Maybe even dot it. And then I'm going to try and just dot a couple of these with white. Yeah, My brush is pretty dry, so I'm just going to kind of try and give it a little softness to it. To give it some light. Oh, this big one I'm just going to dot. That big one I'm just going to dot. That big one I'm going to dot too. I want more accent. I want more accent there too. I don't think that's quite dry yet, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to try and dry brush it anyway. I just want to hit this line here. And his cheek line here. I don't have any paint on the brush. Kind of hard to dry brush if you don't have paint on your brush. Just enough to highlight those high spots in his nose. And the other side of his cheek, which you might not be able to see because of camera angle. Face. Now I'm going to take my liner, get it pretty dry, and pray I can do this without making a huge mess. That's really hard to do while you're on camera. Really hard to do. Now the next hard part, I'm going to do his eye. Right after I clean the brush, because I'm dumb. I might have to pull this off camera to do his eye. Now the other eye. Try not to get my head in the camera for you while I do this, but these are tough. Oh, now I need a black dot, which I gotta grab my black paint. Don't need a lot, so I'm gonna put it right on my little painting work area. Actually, since I have my liner out, I'm gonna go ahead and maybe do a little bit of lining while the eye is dry. Like right here. I don't normally line my models, but this model is one piece, so it kind of needs a little bit of help there. And it needs a little bit of help defining on the other side. Like, look at the difference there and there. So I'm going to go ahead and line this side as best I can. I don't normally line, so I'm not that good at it. And I don't even know how I'm going to get in here to do this one. I guess I'm going to have to move the model around. Well, be. I'm gonna put a line here too. What the heck? It's already a little dark, but and ever so lightly, just a little line there, and a little line there. Big difference. Okay, now I'm going to take a deep breath and I'm going to attempt to put eyeballs in here. Something I don't really... I'm going to have to hit it with white. Probably should have done the black first. Huh? That one's not so bad. Except that it's not in his eyeball. Ah! Now, I'm going to do something here because he's got... Alright. I'm doing a great job of ruining this guy. He's goth. He's gone goth. So, I'm going to have to let him dry. Fix his face. Obviously, I need to practice doing faces. A lot. Maybe I can do this right away. Hell no. Sorry, people. I ruined this face. So we're going to go right back to the flesh down here real quick. And we're going to start that part over. And we don't need to go much higher than that. But we're going to go ahead and let it dry. I'm going to take a break from this figure because I've been painting him way too long already. He's mostly okay. We're going to go ahead and try and hit this real quick. And then we're going to just take a little bit of the white. Make a nice little point on the brush. Trying to fix it on this side a little bit. Take some of this elf flesh tone. Oops. Pale flesh, I mean. Give it a dry brush. I want this figure done. And right now, really what I'm doing is I'm blending everything. Fix that spot so he doesn't have a black eye. I'm just going to start his face over. I have to let him dry though. I'll have to do that after the fact. This model is effectively done for off the palette. I have to let him dry and do the details. When I start taking pictures for our photo galleries, he'll go up and you'll see that I can actually paint faces, maybe. Gonna dry brush his face real quick with the white. So you can see that portion done. Get his nose. Well, there you go. Off the palette, Xian Ling, the Alkemy's game, and he is Triad of the Jade Empire. He needs a little bit more flesh though. That's a little green. Looks like a zombie. And they're not zombies. Matt Lemke with True Gamer Goggles, gamer-goggles.com. And the most recent edition of Off the Palette. Have a good day.